for 7 years as an English language teacher for primary and high school students. And now, for the last 7 years, I've been working as a teacher trainer. And now, currently, I'm working as a senior product manager with Skybooks, who publish books for pre primary and primary grammar books. So, I am into this particular field because I'm passionate about teaching kids and I'm passionate about devising different strategies for making children understand, whatever they feel is tough in their classroom. So, this is all about me. And today our session is all about engage ed. It's called engaged, and I mean to say is engage ed strategies. Ed is education. Engaged strategies for English language teaching. I know everybody who says about language teaching, they talk about listening, speaking, reading, writing. But today, my viewpoint is all about writing. How effectively can you teach writing in English language? Can we move forward? So
Definitely, opinions.
this is going to be an interactive session, and I request each and everybody to take part in the session. So going forward, we are going to have few activities. So I know these are very fun and easy activities. I want you to take part in that so that the session is going to be very interactive. All right.
Okay, just one comment about the title itself of the workshop. You put it
Yeah.
in red, engage it. So what do you mean by engage it? Because I can see strategies for English language teaching. So you mean engaging strategies or engaged students? So
Engaged.
the
Yes.
red title,
Engaged. Engaging strategies which you can use it in your as a part of your daily classes. Ed is for education. Engaged is like in the education every day in your classroom you can do it. So ed is for educator. Ed because teachers are the ones who is going to use these strategies in the class.
okay, so you mean engaging strategies, right?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so because having the red
So
one
this
would
is
be
a
a
catchy
little
word. This
bit,
is a catchy word
yeah,
which means two things.
yes, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So everybody says English around the world and all over the globe, wherever you go, people are crazy about English. Agree? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So everybody sees English, 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 and there are a lot of things that people go through about English. If they have to learn something, they have to learn English. If they have to travel abroad, they need to learn English. So English is everywhere. But not everybody is a native speaker of English, is it? So it is tough for the non native speakers to learn to speak English and learn to write English. And even it is tough for the native speakers to write English with a grammar correct. So I feel that English is a borrowed language. It is not an original language. It has borrowed words from different languages. Agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because it's a borrowed language, people have difficulty in understanding English if they are a non native speaker. So let's have an activity lost in translation. I know I didn't inform you to hold on your pens, carry your pens or books, but let me just tell you this is just a small activity where you can just memorize and give me the answers. Okay? Are you all in for the activity?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So other than English, I want you to pick up the sentence that I tell you in English to translate to any other language that you know except in English. For example, my mother tongue is not English. It is our native language, Telugu. So I have to translate whatever sentence I am going to say now into Telugu. So likewise, if you have Urdu, if you belong to Russia, if you belong to, different countries, Spain or something. So please translate it to your local language. If you're from Germany, please translate it to German and let me know the final outcome. I don't want you to read out the sentence, but I'll ask you a few questions. I want you to say that. Okay, so here goes the first sentence. The sentence is I love eating chocolates. Am I clear to everybody? The
Yes.
sentence is I love eating chocolates. I want you to translate the sentence to any other language that you know other than English.
Can I say?
Yes, please.
Okay. I love eating chocolate in Urdu. मुझे chocolate खाना पसंद है.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
can I?
Okay, in
Yes, please.
Arabic I say أحب تناول الشوكولاتة أو أكل الشوكولاتة.
Great.
Okay, وأنا كمان in Arabic أنا أحب أكل الشوكولاتة.
Okay. Anybody else want to take part in this?
Okay. In French we might say j'aime chocolat.
Great.
French is not my first language or so, but I just learned it many years ago when I was in high school.
Great, great. That's great to
Remember
know. Great
stuff.
to know that.
Hello, so sorry for interruption. We say in French, j'aime manger le chocolat.
Wow, great, great. Anybody
Okay.
else want to take part in this?
Yeah.
إن أنا مصري بقول أنا بحب أكل الشوكولاتة.
Great, great. Okay. So now you have translated exactly like how I said. I love eating chocolates, is it? Now, I want you to all translate and see if the sentence remains the same in your mother tongue and in English. So when I say I, you have to translate I. When I say love, you have to translate love. When I say eating, you have to translate eating. When I say chocolates, you have to translate chocolates. So, did you find the same sentence structure that you have in English and in your mother tongue too? So, does it make sense when you translate word by word?
Kind of.
No, the word order just makes
Language.
different. The word order is different.
Word order is different. And does it make sense in your mother tongue when you read this now?
No, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, right?
It
So,
it
you're
like
lost in translation.
it seems I'm just saying the words, not a
Yeah,
complete sentence.
exactly. Exactly. Because the sentence structure in your mother tongue is different from the sentence structure in English. Because English follows the grammar rules of whatever words it has chosen. For example, let me take this. How many of you know the word but? B-U-T, but. How many of you know this word?
I think we
Almost
all
everybody. Almost everybody, is it?
Yes.
Yes. How many of you know the word put? P-U-T, put.
Yeah, we do.
You do, right?
All.
So why do you think there's a difference in pronouncing but and put differently when the letters are same? Just the one letter is different.
Okay, here
Honestly,
we
I don't
we
see
move
the
into an area of what we say the discrepancy between English spelling and English pronunciation. Do you know they do not match? English is not a phonemic language, so that's why there is a big difference between the way the words are written and the way they might be pronounced.
So this question often pops up when you teach English to primary school students. All right. So the best answer that you can give them is see the phonic sound when they learn through phonic sounds, they feel that but is the right one. Put is not the right one. So you can say this way that English is a borrowed language. So when you take loan from one bank, you follow the same bank rules. You don't follow the other bank rules, is it? When you borrow money from a person, you follow his rules or somebody else's rules?
Yeah, his rules.
His rules. So when you borrow a word from one language, you follow that language pronunciation rules. That is the reason when you read
Yeah.
different words with the same ending letters in English, still the pronunciation differs. So
Yes.
this is the easiest way to convey it to students that beauty but is an English word, pure English word, but beauty put is not an English word, it is borrowed. So if, for example, if that word is from Spanish, English English follows Spanish pronunciation rules here. Since all of us belong to only one country and we cannot learn so many international languages, we learn them as grammar rules and pronunciation rules and spelling rules. Am I making sense?
Yes.
But I want to
Because
say one thing here. Do you think
yes,
that
please.
all these differences in pronunciation related to the fact that it's coined some words from other languages? I don't think so. Because they are the same English words. They have their roots in English, but they have different pronunciation. It's not only confined to what we call border languages or border words.
Okay, so I'll tell you some evidences here. So, how do you think people decided phonic sounds? When you go with pronunciation, you teach phonics, is it?
Yeah.
You start with phonics, pronunciation, sounds. You teach the sounds of the letters, is it? So,
True.
how do you think people derived phonic sounds? So, 26 letters have 44 sounds approximately.
That's true.
Because linguists all over the globe, they have seen how many times letter A has come in the beginning, how many times it has come in the middle, how many times it has come in the end, and they've seen how many times A is making a sound, how many times A is making a sound, and then the majority won and it became the primary sound of A. So A for apple, so it says a, and all the other sounds are additional sounds. So you that is the reason you made them long sounds, short sounds. So there are some pronunciation rules according to phonics. It is because all the words are not from English. So there are some, even in, like you said, there are so many English words which differs in their pronunciation. It is because the combination of letters that you get to form the word, it changes the entire pronunciation. Am I making sense now?
Yeah, to some extent I can say because in the pronunciation and in English and the spelling, as I said, they do not always match, regardless of the word is originally an English word from Anglo-Saxon or else. And now, with development in English and the widespread of English language across the globe, there are always different pronunciations between native speakers and non-native speakers, if they speak it as first language or second language or only language of business. So there are many, many differences that result in different pronunciation.
But when you attempt any exams related to IELTS, they don't encourage you to use your local dialect or accent. They
No,
encourage
now
you.
in modern English now, you have what we call Englishes, not only English. We have many versions of English. So we have even now in IELTS and the other international speaking, exams and listening exams to test both ways, So they
Yes.
include non-native speakers, many now authentic, because this is authenticity of language. You
See,
see,
I
you need,
have my Indian accent to my English because
yes,
I speak like this slowly in my schools because my children are non-native speakers. You might have native speakers, so you might speak little faster than what I speak or how I speak, is it? So
there are
everybody
some,
has their own style and dialect when it comes to English.
that's true.
Okay, so by the end of this activity, I would like to let you know that English has different structure, sentence structure compared to your native languages.
I have a question. Can
Yes,
I?
please. Yes, please.
Uh, I want to ask you, how would I know that this word is pure English word and this word is something other language word? How would I know when
So
I have been reading this
you
word
would
since
not
my
know
childhood,
this.
at the beginning? How?
It would certainly make your life little difficult if you have to know all that. That is the reason linguists all over the world they've created English grammar, English spelling rules, English pronunciation rules. So it is very difficult for you to, know English words, proper English words, and the words that are borrowed from international languages. That is the reason we have a lot of pronunciation rules. We have phonics, which teach you the right way to pronounce those words.
I guess the easiest way to know the origin of the word is just to look it up in a dictionary, because they always dictionaries give you the root taken from
Yes,
French, from German, from Latin, Greek, whatever.
and you
So
have
the
phonetic
dictionary,
script and dictionaries to understand the sound of the word.
sorry, what did you say?
You have the phonetic script in the dictionaries.
Yeah, most dictionaries have pronunciation, keys. So we usually have the word as a head word, and then you have pronunciation and part of speech, and then
Yes,
examples, meaning, etc., etc.
yes, yes. I think somebody asked the question. Did we answer your question? Thank you.
Yeah, you did. So yeah, go ahead.
Can we move forward?
Sure, yes.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So let's go back in time by a few years. So how were we taught writing in school? Okay, let me start with my experience. So I was given basic sentence structures, and then I was given a lot of hints, and then I was supposed to write based on those hints on my own. So basically, I learned how to write by using a lot of hints, by using a lot of prompts that are given back of my book. So basically, I was holded till my eighth standard to write anything on my own. That is when I was taught English writing. So how are you taught when you were in a school?
Okay, concerning my first language, Arabic, we started by learning the letters themselves, how to write each letter, whether at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, at the end of the word, because usually Arabic letters take different shapes based on where they are located in a set or a word in a sentence. So that was the very
Great.
beginning, to identify and recognize the way you write the letters and how to connect them to each other as well. Was the second step, So instead of separate letters, you use them in words, and it goes on and goes on. Okay, that's it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Anybody else would like to share your experience? How you were taught writing in your school when you were a child?
I want to
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, now we can hear you.
When I started learning English, especially writing, I think that as I can remember, I started by using unscramble words, then doing the missing letters in these words when there were some gaps and put the right letter in each word. When I came through another stage, there were some writing activities as for example as writing a paragraph or a short paragraph consisted of 3 sentences at least. I think when they uh, give me some hints or some words or some guiding words to make 3 sentences, when I turn it into the upgrading level or the following stage, the words were coming more. I was given such 4 guiding words to make 4 sentences and so on.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Anybody else would like to share your experience here?
Can I share my experience?
Please go ahead.
When we started learning English, they used to give me, right now, someone said that they used to give us some gap in the words and we used to fill up the gaps. And then the next step was they used to give us some words to make the sentences, make the sensible sentences. So
Okay.
this was our, in fact, this was our beginning to learn English writing. They used to give us small words to make the sentences, sensible sentences. Then this was initial stages. Then gradually they used to give us some hard words to make the sentences, and then uh, give us short paragraphs. And gradually they, of course, we moved to the big paragraphs and with the topics, in fact, and the number of the words. Gradually we learned this, but the first thing was they used to give us the fill in the gaps and then sentence making. So this sentence making really played a very big role.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Can you
I
all
guess
hear me?
because it's not.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Percent, there, Percent would like to share, I think, because she is saying hello, hello.
Anybody else would like to share? Okay. So basically, all of us were guided by our teachers very intensely in the beginning of learning to write English in our childhood. But now, this generation, 21st century kids, they are very independent right from the beginning, and they feel bored for everything very easily. So when we were kids, I think we didn't have this holiday homeworks or holiday project. We didn't have often, but now if you see, right from kindergarten, every child has holiday homeworks. It is because boredom is something that is haunting them. They get bored for everything easily. So, engaging them in an interactive activities to teach language which they haven't heard at home is a tough part on teachers. Agree? Do you all agree with me? Hello. Okay. I think somebody is talking, but I could barely hear them. Okay. So thank you for sharing your insights. I did miss the last part that you said. But moving forward, you know, my focus is on writing. So today let me talk about understanding the writing challenges in teaching English to 8-year-olds. So 8-year-olds, why did I take 8-year-olds? Is still 7 year, I guess. We call them, foundational years. So right from eight, if primary children start, right from grade three, according to Indian rules. Any year. So the most important thing that we need to do when you're teaching primary students or pre-primary students is gain their attention span. Their attention span is comparatively less, and their language comprehension, if it doesn't happen with actions, the language comprehension goes down. And most importantly, they're always diverted towards some or the other play. So participation is something that is missing if we use only chalk and talk method. And children these days, they love interactive activities and easy ways to remember anything. So it is very important for us to find ways to teach them or to make them remember things easily without having to do with a lot of theoretical rules. So I go with mnemonic approach. So mnemonic approach is something where you remember one word and you remember all the words. For example, so when I was teaching conjunctions, it was very easy for me to tell children to remember the word called fanboys. I repeat the word fanboys. So where they remember basic conjunctions. Fan, S stands for, A stands for and, N stands for not, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for it, S stands for so. So if I ask them conjunctions, they remember fanboys and write all the words that are associated with that particular word. So these are the easy ways to remember any grammatical or any tough concept, not just in English, but in any other subject. If you use mnemonics, it is very easy for your children to remember the concept and recall the concept successfully, though they are playing at home. So, am I making sense? Can you all hear me?
So here you're using what we call acronyms, in fact, using acronyms to
Yeah.
help them, get
Yes.
familiar with certain
Yes.
specific words you say. But before that, it's always said it's better to teach English, in chunks. You see,
Yes.
you don't learn separate words or use a dictionary just to memorize words. No, we learn two, three words together that make sense, like idioms, expressions, and
True. True.
chunks.
True. Yes. Yes.
So that's better than just learning single words.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with you, and I go with acronyms, a lot of acronyms. Even if I have to teach them the kinds of nouns, the five kinds of nouns, so I teach them, I tell them a word called CM cap, and we enact a game in the classroom using a cap, which is called CM cap, and then they start enacting, and then they learn C for common, M for material noun, C for collective noun, A for abstract, P for proper. So this is how they used to learn and remember, different kinds of grammar topics, and not just grammar, but even in English, math, EVS. So we use acronyms a lot to teach them difficult concepts. So benefits of using this particular strategy in teaching English is enhanced retention. So if you take any catchy word, children use that word often, and they tend to recall the concept though they are playing. And the engaging learning experience, it is going to be an engaging learning experience because The word should be very catchy enough for children, or you have to choose a word which children often use so that it is very easy for children to remember the word, recall the word, and retain the word in their real life experience after school. Like I mentioned again, enhanced retention and long term retention are almost the same, but long term retention is like, so if they are in grade 2 and you taught them some acronym, even if they come to grade 6, they remember the same acronym as it is without missing the concept. So I'm not just talking about the memory retention of definition, but I am talking about how can you retain the concept after you teach, because it is very important for us to understand the retention of conceptual explanation after you teach the concept, not then and there. If a child is memorizing something and, you know, telling you something immediately and forgetting later, it means the conceptual understanding is not up to the mark and it was not engaging for the child to remember. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I'd like to say something here. It's true that
Please.
using mnemonics will help, you see, but this is not really writing. This is just, enhancing memorization and retention. But writing is a different, issue.
I'll come
Writing
up with an
here,
example. I'll come up with an example after this. I understand that you're talking about, memorizing and all, but even to write, you need to understand and remember few strategies. So I'm going to show you that how to teach writing. So I've come up with two concepts basically. So in my next later slides, I'll show you how to teach different kinds of writing using acronyms or mnemonics.
yeah, but even though when we use mnemonics or using acronyms or abbreviation even, okay, writing is a different issue because here, if we use the same example you used already, saying fanboys, fanboys is just an acronym for seven, conjunctions, okay, known as coordinators or coordinating conjunctions. But how to use them, what each one means, and how to connect to different ideas using any of them is a different issue for writing. It's not just the
Yes, both
acronym.
are two different concepts. Both are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I've picked up report writing as a sample. So I'll tell you which acronym did I use. So you might wonder, writing means just sentence writing, word writing. So here I meant report writing is something where the child, already learned making words, making sentences. Now he'll learn to write report writing, descriptive writing, whatever it is. So today my concept is all about how to teach reportive writing, report writing. So the FAME is the acronym that I use to teach them report writing. So these are children by 8 years. Most of the children, they learn to make words, they learn to make sentences. So now they need to understand how to align those sentences in a meaningful manner to create a report. So FAME, F for facts. So the child need to understand that he need to print the facts, analysis of what had happened, main idea of the topic that is given, and examples which link the main idea and the facts. And going forward, I will show you how this FAME acronym is useful in writing a report writing. So the topic here is a report on my visit to Jew. So here F for FAME. So when it comes to facts, yesterday, I went to the zoo with my family. The weather was sunny and there were lots of people at the zoo. We saw many animals like lions, tigers, elephants, monkeys, and birds. So these are the facts that the child has seen and recorded in his mind when he visited the zoo. Analysis. So, so after the facts, he analyzed how they made him feel. So he wrote, I liked seeing the animals up close. Some were big and scary, like the lions and tigers, while others were small and cute, like the monkeys. The zookeepers took good care of the animals and made sure they had enough food and water. And now comes the main idea. So visiting zoo was exciting and fun. I learned a lot about different animals and their habitats. It was like going on an adventure in the wild, but in a safe place. Now he keeps giving examples pertaining to main idea of facts. So one of my favorite animals was giraffe. It had a long neck and big brown spots on its body. I also liked the colorful parrots that could talk and sing. The elephants were huge and they used their long trunks to eat leaves from the tree. So this is how you teach them report writing. The reason why I picked 8-year-old or a primary school is that by then children learn words and children learn how to build basic sentences. Like someone mentioned, so teachers teach them writing by giving exercises or filling the blanks by adding pictures instead of words. So there are a lot of picture stories that children read. So filling the blanks by adding picture without a word will allow children to guess the word in the middle of the blanks so that he completes the stories. And after he learns that, he learns descriptive writing by using 5 senses. He learns report writing. He learns journal writing and so on. So report writing is something that I teach them using the acronym called FAME, where children print facts, analysis, main idea, followed by example. This is how we teach them so that it is easy for children to understand how to write or how to align their sentences in an order. Can we move forward or do
I
you
have
want
one
to?
comment here,
Yes.
please. I have a comment here, please.
Please, please.
Concerning this structure of a report is quite different from what students learn in other stages because completely different. Usually when are given a prompt to write a report, it's totally different. It tells you the aim of the report and then what can you contain, what problems you have and how we find solutions. It's completely different from this framework.
Okay, so report writing doesn't just have one format, it has different formats. So when it comes to this is for 8-year-old, when it comes to 14-year-old, like whatever you mentioned, that is report writing. I mean, based on the topic, I think the format changes.
Yeah,
So when it
right.
comes to 8-year-old, the report writing need not be about the serious issues, but report writing is all about the visits that he did and all. It depends from age to age. Am I making sense? Can we move forward?
Sure, yeah. I thought you would give me, according to the title of your presentation or workshop, I thought that I would put my hands on some, strategies right away, how to get them engaged, so some techniques, but not exactly this, all about, the way they can memorize or retain, because this is after all, things to help them remember what they have taught. But I want what they have taught first in the first place, you see?
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. And there are, see, there are a lot of strategies, not just these, but I picked these to present because this is my first session with you all. I didn't
Yeah.
know what the scenario is with all of you. I just picked it because this is my first session here, so I didn't know what problems you are encountering in the classes. So I do have different strategies which I pitch in with all the teachers, right from basics, teaching letters to teaching words and teaching sentences. There are a lot of activities pertaining to them. I think we can discuss all of them in going forward in our next sessions.
Hopefully, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I teach them poem writing with poet. Poet is something that is the acronym that I use. So purpose, organization, expression, and theme. So now I'll show you a poem, which these are the poems that are written by 8-year, 9-year, and 10-year-old children using this particular acronym. So these are the prompts that were given by us for them. So purpose is like when you want to write a poem. So I said I want to write this poem to share my love for my garden and all wonderful things that I find here. So I want to show everyone how special my garden is to me. That's the purpose of writing a poem called My Garden Adventure. When it comes to organization, in my poem, I'll start by talking about the flowers in my garden and how they bloom. Then I'll mention the insects and butterflies that visit. Next, I'll describe the fruits and vegetables we grow. Finally, I'll end with how much joy my garden brings to me, and then followed by expression. So I use colorful words to describe everything in my garden, using my imagination as if I'm walking through my garden with you, smelling the flowers and tasting the fruits. Finally, it ends with theme. The theme of my poem is the beauty and wonder of nature. So I want to show how amazing it is to have a garden and how much happiness it brings to me and my family. So this is something that we give children, we give one sample structure for children and we ask them to pick the topic that they love and they write prompts like this and then start making a poem. So based on the previous one, so we divided children into 4 groups, and in each group there were three children, and all 3 children together wrote 4 stanzas. So these are 9-year-old children. So in a garden green and bright, where flowers bloom with pure delight, I skip and dance, my heart so light, underneath the sun's warm light. So here when you see the purpose, so she said, I want to write this poem to share my love for my garden and all the wonderful things I find here. So here in the first stanza, she wrote exactly about it. And in second stanza, she said she'll write about the beauty. So she wrote here. So she wrote the purpose, she organized it, she put her expression by using different words, and she finally showed up her theme. And I also have a 4-line poem using the same poet acronym by using the same concept, My Garden Adventure. A 8-year-old child has written this poem. In my garden, flowers grow so tall, butterflies dance, they never fall, with fruits and veggies, colors bright. My garden's a place of pure delight. So these are children who had prior knowledge about rhyming words and rhyme scheme, which were taught to them in the previous classes. That is the reason they were able to create a poem on their own. Am I making sense? Would you like to add something here? Anybody?
Thank you. Well done.
I think paraphrasing is a good way to learn learners about poem or poetry.
Yeah.
They can paraphrase stanzas separately, and they can give us the same or the main idea about the poem. This is they can also take out some figures of speech in addition to paraphrasing and rhyme scheme. It's a good way
Yes.
to learn English and
Yes.
how to write about a specific poem.
We teach them alteration, we teach them, rhyme scheme, we teach them a lot of things, but first of all, they should know how to organize it all after learning rhyme scheme and rhyming words. Okay, so here's an activity to all of you. So till now, we've discussed about how to teach report writing, or how to teach them how to write a poem using different mnemonics, I mean acronyms. But now I'm going to help you understand how do you order the writing samples, or how do you teach children how to write exactly. So today I've taken the exact samples from a grade 1 child who doesn't know writing at all. So now all of you please go through the pictures and let me know which picture was given first. Please sort the pictures. Please number the pictures. Is my screen visible to everybody? Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, who wants to go first? So all these are
The one,
the
my
tracks.
best main idea. I think this is one the student
Okay.
should start with.
Okay. All these are written by only one child on the topic my pet. Okay, so main idea, you thought it's number one. So which picture is going to be number two? Which picture do you think is number two? Anybody else?
Number, I think is a picture about my dog. My dog. Start with my pet is the
First
dog.
picture, second picture, or third picture?
Please, can you repeat? What did you say?
Okay, so number the pictures. So based on the pictures, number the pictures. How do you see on the screen? So if you are going to tell me the fourth picture you feel is worst picture, tell me which
I
picture is number two. Which picture do you think is second picture?
Uh, I guess you could have labeled them in the first place, so we can then say picture B would be number one, picture C would be number two. So if you have just
Okay.
labeled them, that would make the exercise much easier to grasp, you know.
Okay.
yes, I totally agree with Mr. Gamal. I don't see the labels on each picture to say which one is number one and which one is number two.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you
There is
don't
are
see the
no
labels,
number.
but you have to guess them based on the writing style of the child.
How can I describe the picture for you?
Okay. Picture A, picture B, picture C, picture D, picture E. So you said picture D is the first picture. Okay. So which one is the second one? So somebody said picture B is the second picture, picture C is the third picture, picture E is the fourth picture, and picture A is the first picture. I mean, last picture.
Yes,
Is
yes,
that you
yes.
said?
Yes, I
Okay. Can we?
understood.
Okay. So, like all of you said, yes, this is the first picture.
Yes.
This is the second picture.
As I said, this is the second picture.
Yeah, this is the third picture. This is the fourth picture and fifth one. So, why do you think I asked you to number the pictures? So, so before we teach them writing, once the child knows how to, you know, form words or sentences, We teach them to ideate their idea by using pictures or drawing, and then ask them to draft. Draft can have spelling mistake, sentence error, punctuation mistake, and then they enhance it by coloring on their own, by correcting the spelling mistakes, correcting the sentence mistakes, everything. And then they edit, and then they publish neatly. So here they draft with all the spelling mistakes and sentence mistakes. Here they enhance by correcting the grammar. So wherever they repeated the noun, they replace the noun with pronoun, and then they edited all the spelling mistakes and they published without any mistakes or with one or two mistakes neatly by using the pictures. So this is how we teach children. So we can't expect children to write about anything after learning sentences directly. So we should ask them to ideate, draft, enhance, edit, and publish. Am I making sense?
Yes, that's known as the writing process. First of all, you start by what we call uh, brainstorming, or just writing down some ideas that pop up in your mind, and then you write your draft based on these notes. You put them together in one way or another. Then you
Yeah.
write it. It becomes a draft. Then you look at your writing in two ways. One way, just to make sure that you have good ideas. Okay, so to edit and then to revise for spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, and such, and then finally publish it. So this is the writing process, at the hierarchy, as we say.
Right, right. So when it comes to teaching children, so I teach them the word called ID. So first I ask them to draw, next I ask them to label, next I ask them to enhance sentences, edit if they have any spelling mistakes or something, and then ask them to publish. So this is how I tell them, and I give them freedom to correct on their own before they publish it. So that's all I have to say today. So I started with fame and ended with ID. So these are the strategies that I teach my children in the classroom and even my teachers in the sessions, because I usually train teachers. So for the last 7 years, I've been training teachers of primary and early childhood, not just basically about English, but on different topics as well.
Okay, one question here concerning this process. You see, the process
Yes,
writing
please.
from I did to the last publish. Do they do that on their own? How do you manage this?
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, my question is, do the children or the learners, okay, do this process on their own, or there's a teacher to help, or maybe peers to help? So, because usually they might create some ideas, they might write a draft, but they don't know what's wrong with their writing, you see, so they need some help here. Somebody should
So
interfere and give a hand. So what happens here? How
usually
you do
what
that?
we do is we conduct collaborative activities, group activities. So
Yeah.
they exchange their books and correct. I mean, teacher is going to be the main help, but I prefer conducting writing workshops every week. I mean, weekly once we conduct writers workshop, and their teachers or educators participation is 10% and children's participation is 90%. So teacher does teach all the writing styles and how to enhance, how to edit. Children just ideate and draft, and all the three other things will be done by teachers. Edit and enhance will be done by teachers usually. But in our writers' workshops, all the 5 steps will be done by children themselves, so that teachers, it will become easy for teachers to teach writing in their classrooms. So I prefer conducting writers' workshops weekly once on a weekly basis every now and then, so that children will understand how to enhance their sentences and how to edit their script on their own rather than depending on their educator.
Thank you.
Please, can I ask you to send the materials to benefit from it in our classrooms and read it again if we need?
Can you please repeat? Your voice is breaking. Yeah.
The gentleman
Can
would
you?
like to have a recording of the material and, the slides as well. He would like to
I'll
have
share the presentation. I'll share the presentation with all of you. I'll add some information because a few of you asked me about, the basics of writing, right from basics of writing, is it? So I'll add all of that and share this presentation with Summer.
That's great. For me, I have a different approach, I have to notice what I say, listen to speak, and then read to write. And as you know, the natural sequence of learning a
Just listen,
language,
speak.
yeah. So listen as much as you can. So one day you'll be able to, repeat the same way and so on. So you listen to speak, and then you
I,
read to write. After a lot of reading, you can write, imitate such writing. Look at little
I,
children acquiring a language of the parents or the mother. That's why we call it mother tongue. Nobody sit
okay.
with a child to teach him the language, but he picks up, easily. And this is a gift from God. You are born to learn the language naturally. Okay.
Can I add something here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think everybody thinks listening, speaking, reading, and writing. All these four, all the four are the steps to learn language. But people are forgetting that before listening, children view things. So any
What do you mean?
baby, if you see a viewing, because there are a lot of children, babies, young children. If you see infants, they view everything before they listen. They view everything. Viewing in the sense, for example, if I give you all the letters, all the colors, names with different colors, it is very easy for you to read the spelling, and then read the name of the color. But if I ask you to read the color, not the spelling, it will be very tough for you because you carry the previous language knowledge or something. But if a children who doesn't know spellings and also letters, it is a cakewalk for the child. So let me show you that with an example. Let me share my screen again. Can you all see my screen now?
No, not yet. We can only see it.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Because I think language is my screen visible to everyone?
Yeah, yeah. What's language? Yeah.
Okay, so I feel language is 55% nonverbal, 38% paralinguistic. Paralinguistic is nothing but tone, the tone that you use, and only 7% of words. So, how much vocabulary you gain, or whatever grammar you learn, whatever literature you learn, figures of speech that you learn, it's just 7% of the language. Any language, I'm not talking just about English, any language. You just have 7% words and 55% nonverbal, 38% Paralinguistic. Paralinguistic is expression and tone together. So I want you to, understand. Children develop language by coos and birds, laughs, cries, and gurgles. They babble. Everybody they start babbling. They say first words, and then by 1 year or 1.5 year, they start saying 2 words per week or 50 words. And they start talking stories, and here goes the flow. So, this is what the language development when it comes to speaking. Okay, so before speaking, there is something called viewing. If you find an infant and give them your gadget, mobile, they don't open anything. They just put their finger and then they swipe and touch YouTube icon. These children who touch YouTube icon, they are not toddlers. They are just infants who don't know letters and pictures. But still they view it and remember. So this is what I meant. So let me show you. So the language develops by viewing, listening, reading. All three are in yellow. Do you know why are they in yellow and why these are in blue? Any guesses, anybody?
You
Um,
mean that is productive and this, receptive
yeah.
skills?
Yes, exactly. Those are inputs, these are outputs.
Okay. No, my point is that here, there is what we call language acquisition. Even before students or learners go to school, they know how to speak their mother tongue fluently and even make big differentiation between feminine and masculine and singular and plural. Nobody sits with them to teach them, but they just
Yes,
acquired the language. Okay. And naturally, children will start with the language by just saying, mum, mum, mum,
yes,
that do, like grandpa,
yes,
grandma, you see?
yes.
And then add another word to it, and then a third word to it. So it comes naturally, they build up. And this is because of that they listened. They didn't do anything.
True.
Of course, they view, they see what's going on, but this is the input. They grasp until one day they can produce it
True,
because
true.
they know got a stock, but they
So
can't produce it.
that is the reason in my all ECCE trainings, I mean early childhood teachers training, I keep telling teachers, to repeat the words, which they find, which repeat the names of the objects. For example, once you enter the classroom, you find benches, you find, water bottles, you find board, everything. So label everything and point to the point it and tell them, go to your bench or go to your desk and sit. Get me your water bottle or where is your bag? So when you're telling it, I usually insist teachers to point them out and label each and everything that you find in your classrooms. So whatever, especially in pre-primary and primary classes, kindergarten and primary classes, please label everything that they see in their classes. So if they know letters, they view, they listen about it when teacher points out, and they start reading. That is when they naturally develop.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a sheet. So can you all read the words? I mean, can you all see the words? Are they clear to you?
Yeah, red, blue, white, yellow, orange, green, whatever, regardless of the
Okay,
color
so
itself. You're focusing on the words.
okay, you read them the colors, right? So now I don't want you to read the spellings. I want you to read just the colors in a very quick way. Can you
So,
please read it?
so green, red, black, blue, right? So is that what you
Yes,
want?
please carry on. Please continue.
So red, yellow, black, And then what it said, this is maybe what? Look at this. I know the yellow one, you know, the white one, the
Hmm.
blue
Okay,
one.
thank you. Thank you so much for participating in this. So you see, when I asked you to read this, so initially you were very quick to read red, blue, white, yellow, orange, green. Okay. So when I asked you to read just the colors, so you were confused, and initially whatever colors you know, you read it faster, but later you slowed down, you started thinking, and then you took time to read them. Is it?
Yeah, that's true.
But if a child who enters the school with just the color knowledge without any spelling and letter knowledge, this is a cakewalk for the child. It is very easy for child to read because he doesn't have letter and spelling knowledge. He just reads the colors. So when you're teaching anything, I think it should be with known to unknown rather than just the new things that we teach. So any concept that you teach, I think you should go from known to unknown, simple to complex. So
That's true. Yes.
building on whatever knowledge they already have to what they are expected to have.
Sure. Yeah. That's quite logical, you know.
Yeah. So yes, that's all about today's session that I thought of giving.
Thank you, Sharmila. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
your efforts today.
Thank you so much.
Lots of thanks to Your
Um,
Highness and wish to see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody.
and thank you, Mr. Gamal, for your participation today. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sharmila.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Shamila.
and see you guys tomorrow to complete our journey. Okay, so I believe you don't have any questions because I think Sharmila has answered all the questions. Okay, so if you want, if you have any inquiries, you can talk to me via WhatsApp. And Sharmila, please don't forget to send me the presentation because
Sure, sure.
people ask about it. Okay, thank you so much. Have a
Thank
nice
you so much.
day. Yeah, I know this
You
is
too.
morning in your area, so have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.